to order. It's Thursday, February 18th, 2021, and we are meeting electronically. As chairman of the Joint Special School Building Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I'm confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. To access Zoom, please refer to the agenda or the city's website for the meeting link. To join by phone, dial 1-929-205-6099. The meeting ID is 814-1495-4386. And the password is 963394. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting through the public postings. Instructions have also been provided on the City of Nashua's website at www.nashuanh.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall and the Hunt Memorial Library. If anybody has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or channel 99, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you connect. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting via the methods mentioned, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. We will start tonight's meeting by having the clerk call roll. Linda, would you please call the roll? Linda? Did you volunteer to be clerk?
Oh, I know. Alderman Dow.
I am present. I can hear everyone, and I am alone.
Clerk is present. I can hear everyone, and I am alone. Alderman Clee.
Alderman Clee will not be with us this evening.
Okay. Alderwoman Liu.
I'm here alone, and I can hear everyone.
Alderman Wilshire.
I'm here, I'm alone, and I can hear the proceedings.
Miss Bishop. Okay. Miss Brown.
Miss Brown said that she would not be with us this evening.
Miss Gilio.
I am here and I can hear you fine, and I am alone in the room.
Miss Johnson.
I'm here. I'm alone in the room and I can hear everything.
And Miss Raymond.
I'm here. I can hear everybody, but my family is on the other side of this room. Hopefully they'll get noisy soon.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Previous meeting minutes, with no objection, I will waive the reading of the minutes of the January 28th, 2021 meeting and the February 4th, 2021 meeting and place them on file. Remarks by the chairman. Okay, I have the pleasant news to tell everyone that we now own the access land to the new middle school. It's a done deal, finalized, and the deed recorded. So we now own the land. So that was a big hurdle to get over, and it frees up a good part of my days from now on. Okay. Remarks by school administration. Mr. Smith, do you have anything?
Nothing for tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Items for discussion and approval of invoices. The first item will be the architect's report from Harriman. Jamie.
Good afternoon, Team Nashua. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a presentation. Okay.
We can see it.
All right, so tonight's agenda is kind of a brief presentation.
Your volume's a little low though, Jamie.
Let Let me see. Can you hear it better now, or do I need to unplug and?
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay. So tonight's presentation is brief, but I wanted to touch on each of the projects and some of the items ongoing, and then look at current project schedule. So at Fairgrounds Middle School, as I understand it, talking with the construction team as well as the principal and assistant principal at the school today, they had a partial school opening. I mean by partial is not the entire school is ready for them to utilize. There's still construction ongoing. I know Harvey will give a little more of an update than I will, but you know, I did hear from the principal and the assistant principal that the in-person opening went very well. They seem to be extremely pleased, and the new on-site traffic patterns have been working quite well. I think the assistant principal had noted that there's still a little bit of a learning curve, but everything was going really well over there. So I was extremely happy to hear that it went over with very minimal glitches, and some of those we can always expect just to kind of get things moving, but moving smoothly indeed, other than a first week snow day, but that's nothing the construction crew can help. So in line with that school opening, Harriman is preparing to get on site next week to do some punch lists. For those of you that aren't really familiar with a punch list is, it's where the architects and engineers will go on site, and even sometimes the contractors do them as well. In fact, I know they do. We go on and we look to make sure that the documents comply. The site complies, the construction complies with the construction documents, and the scopes are covered and built properly. We look for little things that need to be retouched up. Maybe there was a little, some paint that wasn't finished in an area or overlooked, and we'll mark it on what's called a punch list. We then turn that list over to the contractor to finalize for the finishing of the product. So we're going to do most of the school for that punch list during vacation next week. The areas that are still be under construction are areas like the Rotary and at Fairgrounds. The science rooms are still being worked on. There's some the administration addition. The gymnasium still has work to be done on some of the sites. So those are items that we'll visit later on in the June timeframe when the rest of the building gets turned over, or some of that gets turned over in other, like an April vacation, so to speak. And so we'll be kind of doing additional punch lists as we move forward. But the intent is to get into the areas that the school is using so that the contractor can finish the work there and then be noted that that work is complete in the area that the school's using. Another topic that we've been working with the school district on is the signage package for the school. We've had the safety and security director and facilities, as well as the actual school users, the principal and assistant principal, review the room numbering. So because we've moved rooms around and added additions, there was a need to review the signage package and provide new wayfinding signs, as well as room numbers for the building. New exterior door numbers, because we've added new doors outside, had to be looked at, and so there'll be new door numbers on the outside of the building. And then just today we were working on new exterior window numbers. As you can see there in the image to the right, we're looking at putting new signage on the windows, something a little more robust than what may be there now. What we're proposing is a vinyl applique that would be installed on the inside of the window and visible, and meets the current kind of safety and security needs for the school. Some of what's there is outdated for those more current needs. At Pennachuck Middle School, we've been meeting with Harvey and the Nashua School District team to review the pricing that's been coming in, and I know Harvey has some updates on that. We also had a meeting with Principal Falzerano 2 weeks ago, reviewing logistics on site and the construction process. and kind of getting that in gear and preparing for a meeting that we had just yesterday with the teachers and staff. That meeting, I kind of outlined what our agenda was there. We had team introductions, kind of introduce who the team players were for the project. We reviewed the scope of work that's going to be happening at the school, reviewed the entire project, site, building, additions, renovations, and gave them a sense of what was happening. We reviewed what construction activities would be happening and how that might affect them and what type of disturbances they might expect during construction as part of that activity. And then we also looked at reviewing and phasing and the logistics of how the addition is going to be out here. So these access points are being reviewed on how you'd have to egress the building if there was an emergency. And so all these are being worked out with reviewing with the team, but not only with the team. We also are I know Harvey's been reviewing with the fire marshal to make sure that meets all the safety and security requirements that are needed. And then another item that we're just underway on, similar to what I just spoke about on Fairgrounds Middle School, we want to prepare a signage package at Pennachuck, and timing wise, it works out well to do both of them right at the same time. It's easy, kind of transitioning from one thought process right into the next. It works really well. So that we've gotten going just this week. And then of course the new Nashua Middle School. So over there we continue. Apologize here, my little pop-up here gets in your way sometimes. All right, there we go. We continue our efforts on the construction documents. So again, the construction documents are the drawings that Harvey will use to price and build the building. So we're continuing efforts there. We recently reviewed the site plans with the athletics department, making sure that everything that we show on site is precisely what they need for athletics. I know we've actually showed a few extra things that they didn't need, and then a couple other things that we weren't needed, to add in. So that worked out quite well, and got official confirmation that the site is correct for that on that stance. And then we also recently had a meeting with the city staff and city team, reviewing the permitting and planning process and what milestones need to be met in order to align the schedule with the construction. And so that has been identified, and I'll share just a little bit of what that looks like in the next slide here, and give a brief description of where that kind of lands. And then project schedule review and update. So there's that, like I just kind of mentioned, I'll be showing you a graphic of what that is. But we were looking at things like land acquisition that's happening between February and May, city planning and permitting that would happen sometime between March and June to get the final approvals, environmental permitting through the New Hampshire DES or the state level. It happens between May and August. And then we issue documents, and then pricing approvals will happen between the May and July timeframe. And then construction mobilization and construction starts in the June-July timeframe, and then goes to the school year of 2023. So some things there are a little bit, I won't change screens now. There we go. Something there a little bit different, and what you might notice is we were talking maybe last time that our document issuance will be happening in March. And some of that has adjusted a little bit to work with a permitting process. So now that pushes that out closer to the May-June timeframe. And so we're working on with Harvey and the team to identify exactly where that happens and how that's going to fall in for the overall schedule to make sure things happen in an appropriate time frame. So this kind of gives you the verbal portion I just gave you on the past slide. This is kind of a visual representation of where things fall. So land acquisition, city planning and permitting, environmental permitting, the document pricing approvals, and then the construction, spans out going beyond what this screen actually would show you. And then overall schedule for the projects, kind of comparing them three together. You can see that Fairgrounds is currently in construction, and it's going through June of 2021. Pennachuck is beginning here in the next month or so, and that spans out to the November of 2022. And then the new Nashua Middle School still into the construction document phase, and then moving into construction here come the middle of the year. All right, so I will close this and allow for anybody to ask some questions on any of that. There we go.
Does anyone have any questions of the architects? Seeing none, I'd like to thank Harriman and Harvey both for adjusting on the fly with some of the school changes and making the changes as seamlessly as possible. And I think they've done a great job in doing that. They've been a great assistance to the people at Fairgrounds, and I'm sure they will be with Penachuk as we move forward. So thank you to both companies. So now the next will be the Harvey Construction. Carl, you have a lead in, or do you want Ken to go right into it?
Oh, Ken can start right off.
Okay. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Alderman Dowd. Good evening, everybody. So normally everybody is used to me doing a presentation, but I'll try not to keep you too long tonight. So the main purpose that we're all here tonight is to do the contractor awards and recommendations for Penachuk, but I'll do a quick construction update. Jamie did a great job of kind of walking through how things are going over at Fairgrounds currently. So as everybody knows in this group, grades 6, 7, and 8 returned to school Monday the 15th. There were no issues, and we're continuing to coordinate with Principal Coffey and her staff. Everything seems to be going really well there. We're out there today for our bi-weekly meeting, and we're just trying to make sure that we address any questions, concerns as soon as we can to make sure that we're not interfering with the day-to-day teaching and learning process. So just to give an update, so we are scheduled to turn over the tech and arts section of the building on 3/1 when students return after vacation. We do have a scheduled walkthrough for inspections with the Nashua Fire Department and the building department for next Thursday. So that allows us time to make sure we address any questions or concerns that they have to make sure that everybody can occupy those nice new spaces on Monday when the staff returns. It also gives plant operations and Sean Smith's team enough time to get in there and do what they need to do to get the space ready. So as I mentioned, normally I usually do a nice presentation. So next month I'll have some better photos to share of the new addition, the STEAM and the science rooms. By that time we should have if anybody's been by the school, we still have the winter tenting up around where we're building. That's to keep the masonry warm because we can't build. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't really cooperated with us the last few weeks, so that's kind of delayed things and taking the winter conditions down. So I hope to have some nice photos to share with you, and you can really see that space take shape. I know the administration's really excited to get in there. And then after the turnover of the new addition in the front entry, we'll begin the gym renovation and the remaining science rooms in April through the summer before we eventually pull off site. Any questions on the construction process and how things are moving along over at Fairgrounds? I know I usually have photos, but not this month. Okay.
Nope.
All right, so moving into Penachuk, Jamie also did a great job to warm the crowd up here, kind of describe of how the process is moving along during the pre-construction phase. We had a nice productive meeting yesterday with Principal Falzerano, and I think 17 or 18 teachers joined in with us to review the design and how things are going to look and feel when we're on site. So just to address any questions and comments. So as also noted, we're still working with the fire marshal and the building department to develop a site-specific safety plan to make sure everything is covered while we're there. Student safety, we have the correct signage, et cetera. We just want to make sure that everything's communicated accurately and on time, so everybody knows what's going on ahead of time. So that's where Penachuk goes. That's where that stands right now. We are slated to start about a month from now, doing some site work out there. But one of the bid packages that was approved by this group, I believe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And that is the main reason why we're here tonight, is to approve, have about a dozen bid packages tonight to recommend and hopefully get approved tonight to help the project get started on time.
Okay,
Okay, so
go ahead, Ken.
okay, thank you. So I think the easiest way for everybody to follow along would be to, let me try to share my screen. Everybody see that?
Yep, you make it full screen though.
I think for everybody, I did send out a cover letter. It's kind of like an outline of each package. It'll probably be easier for folks to follow along, so you don't have to flip through the hundreds of pages here. I'll navigate through here so we can jump through anything, any additional information that you need. But there's a page that looks like, let's see, it looks like this. So if anybody, that's the page you kind of want to follow along with. That would help. So I know there are a few new faces here and how this process works, and I know we did do one quick package, but just for a refresher, typically how this process goes is I'll do what we're doing is we're recommending contractors for bid packages, and we call them bid packages because that's we're going out to bid, and it's for the scope of work to be performed for the project. So I'll briefly describe the scope of work pertaining to the project. I'll describe the number of bids that we solicited, and then I will name the recommended bidder and how we do recommend this bidder. I don't know if you folks are familiar with it. Carl's estimating team, as well as the project management team, based on the qualifications, we make sure that and confirm that the scope of work is covered based on the documents provided by Harriman. And we try to make sure that everything's covered, and the most qualified bidder and most economical bidder is recommended for the project. And that's where you folks come in. So I'll try to describe each bid package, and if you have any questions, please just jump in and let me know, and I'll do my best to answer. So the first bid package that I'm going to be recommending tonight is the concrete foundations package. And the scope of work here is to form and place all concrete foundations. That's the concrete that goes in the ground that the building sits on. And covered in this scope is multiple site mobilizations. As you know, based on reviewing the Harriman's plan, we're going to be working around the building. There's going to be 5 additions, and we're required to make sure that this contractor can remobilize and mobilize without adding extra cost to the project. So we did solicit 6 bids for this scope of work. Very good coverage here. We are recommending the low bidder, and the low bidder is Crete Pavers of Sunapee, New Hampshire, for a total contract cost of $235,720.00.
So we're going to be doing 12 of these tonight. So every time we do one of these, if someone would volunteer to make the motion to approve, and then we can discuss. All of these bids have been reviewed by myself, and I'm sure Sean Smith. We tend to lean towards companies first if we can find a qualified bidder that had success with in the past, from Nashua, then New Hampshire, New England. Sometimes we even have to go beyond that, especially with COVID. But as you'll see with one bid tonight, but all of the bidders that have been selected are people that we've done work with before, for the most part, and have had success with. So I know I feel, and I'm sure Sean, if he has any questions, will bring it up as well. But I think that we're happy with the selections that have been made. So the first motion that we need is to approve the concrete foundations work to Crepavers Inc. in the amount of $235,720. Mrs. Raymond saw her hand first, made the motion to approve. Is there any discussion on this particular bid? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Miss Bishop, Miss Brown is absent, right? Miss Gilio,
Yes.
Miss Johnson,
No.
and Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries, and we'll award the concrete foundations to Crepavers Inc. Ken?
Thank you. So just one other clarification. So I do try to get these packages and anything that I'm going to be presenting out about a week ahead of time. I know we're all busy, but if anybody has any questions and wants to contact me or Harvey ahead of time to answer questions offline, I'd be happy to do that. That I'm certainly available. So please ask any questions. It'll help everybody.
Yeah, I think the process is that you send them to Sean sends them to Sharon, and she puts it out to everyone, or at least puts the link out to everyone. And
Correct.
they are shared on the school department's website, and all the information is there on all the bidders. Is that correct, Sean? He's saying yes. Okay, Ken.
Okay, thank you. The next bid package I'll be presenting tonight is the concrete flat work package. And this scope of work is similar to foundations, but this is for all of the interior slab on grade work. This is basically what goes underneath the flooring. And also covers the placing of the exterior sidewalks and all of the equipment pads that all of the new mechanical equipment sits on in the boiler rooms and mechanical rooms. And again, multiple site mobilizations carried as to not add cost to the project. So we did solicit 4 bids for this scope of work. The low bid is being recommended, and it is CCS Concrete of Tewksbury, Massachusetts, for a total contract cost of $128,842.00.
Okay, so I'd like a motion to approve the concrete flat work to CCS Concrete LLC in the amount of $128,842. I saw Alderman Wilshire.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion is to award the concrete flat work to CCS Concrete LLC in the amount of $128,842. Any discussion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Miss Brown, Miss Gilio,
Yes.
Miss Johnson,
No.
and Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, Ken?
Thank you. The next package, staying in the same area. This is for the concrete material. So this is just the purchase and the purchase order to provide all the concrete for the entire project. This is a contractor that we did solicit 2 bids. We did this. The recommended bidder is the low bid, and this is a contractor that we work with on many of our projects. Also. Is the concrete supplier over at Fairgrounds currently, and has been servicing the job very well. This is again for all concrete material for slabs, foundation, and sidewalks required per design. This is being recommended to Ready Mix Companies Incorporated for a total contract cost of $175,122.00.
So I'll need a motion to approve the concrete material for Penachuk to the Ready Mix Companies, Inc. in the amount of $175,122. Alderman Lou?
I make that motion.
Okay, the motion is to award the concrete material to Ready Mix Companies, Inc. in the cost of $175,122. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Miss Gilio, Miss
Yes.
Johnson,
No.
Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Ken?
Thank you. Last item for concrete here. This is for the concrete reinforcement, often called rebar. This is the metal or steel that you see sometimes sticking out of concrete when buildings are demolished. So this is required for structural stability in the foundations and sidewalks. So this contract is for all reinforcement for concrete building footings, the foundation walls and piers, reinforcement for all of the slabs on grade, and the reinforcement for all of the equipment pads as designed per Harriman structural engineer. There were 3 bids solicited. The low bid is being recommended, and it is Barker Steel LLC out of Canaan, New Hampshire, for a total contract cost of $49,290.00.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to award the concrete reinforcement to Baker Steel LLC of Canaan, New Hampshire in the amount of $49,290. Mrs. Raymond made the motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Miss Bishop, Miss Gilio,
Yes.
Miss Johnson,
No.
Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Ken?
Thank you. This next bid package that I'll be presenting is for the Masonry Package. This scope of work is for all of the, it says CMU walls. Those are for the concrete masonry unit walls. So that's like another construction term that I try not to use in public, but this is for all the walls in infills that you'll see. And, you know, a lot of school construction is comprised of masonry units. This also includes the brick veneer and the precast that's included on the exterior of the building that helps pull in the architectural elements that Harriman's designed.
Ken, you're showing the electrical up there at the moment, not the,
Sorry about that.
thank you.
Getting excited. Okay.
All right. So need a motion to approve the masonry work to George W. Payne Masonry, Inc. of Salem, New Hampshire in the amount of $560,000. Who would like to make that motion? Alderman Wilshire made the motion.
I'll make that motion.
So the motion is to award the masonry work to George W. Payne Masonry, Inc. of Salem, New Hampshire in the amount of $560,000. Any discussion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Miss Gilio,
Yes.
Miss Johnson,
No.
and Miss Raymond.
Yes.
One other item to note about George W. Penn, they are currently performing the masonry over at Fairgrounds Middle School as well. And they're a great contractor that we often work with. So that's a great award for the project. The next bid package here is the structural steel bid package. And this is to furnish and erect all of the structural steel that is required for the new additions and any of the interior renovations. So again, This has covered multiple site mobilizations to not increase cost of the project due to the phasing, how we're going to have to work around the school. And one of the main points and key points about this project, this bid package, was that with steel escalation, we want to make sure that we can lock this bid package in to avoid increasing cost to the project with the market fluctuating. So we did receive 3 bids for this work, and the low bid is being recommended. They're a great contractor that we often use on our larger projects. And it's Trimax Steel out of Quebec, Canada, for a total contract cost of $824,840.00.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to award the structural steel to Trimax Steel in the amount of $824,840. Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Okay. Ms. Alderman Garthwaite made the motion. So the motion is to award structural steel to Trimax Steel in the amount of $824,840. Is there any questions?
Yes,
Alderman Lou?
thank you. What was the next lower price? Was it an American company?
Sure. Yes, it is an American company.
Okay, I see.
It was a very close and competitive bid, but we did feel that Trimax was able to lock in, as I mentioned, the material escalation cost. They were able to honor that.
I see.
I think there were some other concerns with the other bidders about possibly escalating prices and being able to perform in the time we needed them to perform. So having reviewed the entire bid package, I'm very comfortable with this bid. Any other questions?
Yeah, just curious with it's my own naivety, but when you contract for this, do you still have to be concerned about prices going up? If you, I thought the bid was something that we could accept and the price would hold, or does that vary according to?
Ken, you want to address that?
Sure. So one of the important things about a contract is once the contract is written and signed, where typically these companies will honor the material price that they've included in their contract. And that's something that we make sure that we confirm when we perform these bid package reviews as we're going to recommend them for the work. So that's something that is part of the contract, that we lock in their material prices.
Just to expand
All
on,
set, Alderman Lou?
Well, so I'm sorry if I'm holding things up. I'm fine, thank you.
No, we've used
a little bit on that, Alderman Dow.
Carl.
Yeah, if I might expand on this, the point in question was at the time of the bid, currently right now in the construction industry, we're experiencing tremendous increases in material prices. Yes, Elizabeth Lou, you are correct. Once it's locked in and under contract, there is no changes from there. Getting to that point, some of the subcontractors were only willing to hold their bid for less than 10 days because of the volatility in the market right now. Steel prices have shot through the roof. Wood prices are almost double, just supply and demand. Trimax was willing to hold their number, getting it to this point tonight. The others would have had to go back and review, because from the time we bid this thing, it's been greater than 10 days to today.
Which would have probably driven the price up.
Correct.
And I think that Harvey's used this company before for steel.
Yes, we have.
So feel very comfortable in their performance.
We've actually worked with all 3 bidders.
Mrs. Raymond, did you have a question?
Mr. Dubois just answered my question. I was going to ask about the volatility of the price of steel right now, because I understand that it's gone through a couple of significant increases just in the last 30 days. So
That's absolutely correct.
So voting on this will lock in this price and we won't be hit with an escalation for the Pennachuck School.
That's
yeah,
correct.
so I appreciate that they're willing to do that. Jumping ahead to the new middle school, is it entirely too early to try and get steel for that? I don't know
No.
where we would store it.
It's actually pretty early to try to do that right now. We have carried in our estimate escalation
Right.
for things like this, so we should be covered.
Okay.
Yeah, we anticipated there might be price increases for the new school and have carried monies to cover it. Any
Okay.
other questions?
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Miss Gilio,
Yes.
Miss Johnson,
No.
and Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Ken?
Thank you. Another steel item here is we like to call this the miscellaneous metals package, and this is for the smaller steel that is not performed or installed by the structural steel contractor. So stuff like roof hatches and the ladders that you'll see over around the sides of the building, sometimes stairs. They provide the masonry lintels and the angles that we need that are required to go inside of large doors and window openings and items such as that. So for this bid package, typically the same bidder, typically the structural steel and the miscellaneous metals package, they both bid to win both of these packages. So in this case, one of the bidders, the recommended bidder was the low bidder here. They also bid on the structural steel package, but due to the material escalation costs, they weren't able to win the structural steel recommendation. But we are recommending SL Chasey Steel Fabricators and Directors of Hudson, New Hampshire, a local company that we've done a lot of work with for the Miss Metals package, as I've just described, for a contract total of $103,500.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to award the miscellaneous metals to St. Chase Steel Fabricators and Erectors of Hudson, New Hampshire in the amount of $103,500. Alderman Lou made the motion.
Yes. So moved.
Okay, so the motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Nope. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Miss Gilio,
Yes.
Miss Johnson,
No.
Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Ken?
Thank you. The next package, we're getting into the finishes and the framing sort of items here. This is for the framing and drywall scope of work. And this scope of work is all the light gauge metal framing at the interior and exterior of the school, and the new additions and as well as the renovations. It covers all the drywall and the plywood sheathing that's required. They also do, we're having this contractor install all the metal door frames within their scope of work areas. They furnish and install all of the insulated metal wall panels. And they also provide what is called a level 5 finish at the marker board writable surface areas. So I think there are some of these areas, and I don't know if some of you have seen maybe in some schools where the students are able to write with an erasable marker directly on the walls. So when you hear us say level 5 finish, it's basically an extra layer of drywall compound that gives it more of a smooth, glossy look, and a special paint is applied to that surface, which allows it to be an erasable, writable surface. So we are having this contractor provide those the level 5 finish where shown on the contract documents. So we did solicit 4 bids for this scope of work. We're recommending the low bid. This contractor is also performing all of the drywall and finishing and framing at the Fairgrounds Middle School and doing a great job. And then it's VPS Drywall LLC of Nashua, New Hampshire. And the total contract value for this bid package is $972,295.00.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to award the framing and drywall to VPS Drywall LLC of Nashua, New Hampshire, the amount of $972,295. Alderman Wiltshire has made the motion.
I will make that motion.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, would clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire,
Yes.
Ms. Gilio,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
No,
and Ms. Raymond. Ms. Raymond, is she there?
Raymond?
Sorry, yes.
Okay, the motion passes and the framing and drywall will be awarded to VPS Drywall LLC. Ken?
Thank you. The next finish package that I'll be presenting here is the painting package. This is pretty self-explanatory, but they'll be painting all of the masonry areas that I just described earlier. The existing corridor also gets a new paint job per the contract documents. All the walls, ceilings, drywall soffits, the drywall ceilings, openings going into rooms, and also any exposed ceiling and steel decking mechanical equipment to kind of help it tie all together. And they also will be providing that glossy paint for the writable surfaces that I just described for the framing and drywall.
Oh,
Okay.
there it is. Okay.
There it is, yeah.
Sorry, it was a little lag. Bad internet tonight.
Operator error.
Yeah, bad internet tonight.
Okay, so we need a motion to award the painting to Noonan Brothers Painting of Manchester, New Hampshire. I believe we're using them already, as you mentioned, and they've done good work. So in the amount of $105,000. Mrs. Raymond made the motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? None. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderwoman Wilshire,
Yes.
Ms. Gilio,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
no,
Ms. Raymond.
Yes.
Okay. That passes. Ken?
Thank you. Moving into the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection. These are the key packages that we really drive the project. The first package tonight is the fire protection, more known as the sprinklers. They'll be performing the system upgrades to both wet and dry systems. Some of you might remember that we did some modifications and upgrades to the dry sprinkler system that is in the existing school that was performed this summer. So this work will be kind of taking care of the new additions and the areas tying into the renovated areas. So we also carried in this bid temporary feeds where necessary to maintain safety of the existing system. We have to keep this up and running while the students are in school, while we're performing our construction in and around the site. So that's something that we also carried during construction. We did solicit to 4 bidders, and we're recommending the low bid to Hampshire Fire Protection, a company that performs much of our work within the state and our larger jobs, for a total cost of $163,880.00.
Just for those that might not know, when we talk about a dry system, that's up in the uninsulated areas of the roof, and there's no water in them until there might be a fire. And Penachuk had all kinds of issues with the dry system over the years because they were leaking and causing water to come into some of the rooms. long story, but we fixed part of that. And this is to do the dry system and the wet system, which is obviously has water in it all the time on the heated floors in the new parts of the school. So I need a motion to approve the fire protection to Hampshire Fire Protection of Londonderry, New Hampshire in the amount of $163,880.
I will approve as read.
Is that
Harriet Gathright.
Gathright made the motion? Okay, thank you. All right, are there any questions on the motion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Miss Gilio.
Yes.
Miss Johnson.
No.
And Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, Ken? That motion passes, by the way.
Thank you. The next MEP package that we'll be reviewing is for the plumbing and mechanical package. This is, again, a key subcontractor that drives the schedule to move along. The scope of work that they'll be performing here is basically they'll be performing all the demolition of the existing equipment, performing upgrades to boilers number 1 and 2, all the mechanical ductwork and equipment, the controls, the testing, the balancing, all the plumbing and piping and the fixtures you'll see in the new group bathrooms, and it also includes the testing and water sterilization as we turn over the new spaces. So this is a key package that really, again, drives the project. There were 5 bidders solicited for this project. We are recommending the low bid. The contractor that we are recommending is also performing this type of work over at Fairgrounds Middle School, and it's Eckhart and Johnson of Hooksett, New Hampshire. And there are some alternates that are associated with this package and the electrical package, and they're kind of tied with each other. So I'll recommend the base contract first, and then I think Alderman Dowd had a few words that he wanted to say, but I'll just, for the base contract, recommend Eckhart and Johnson for a total cost of $2,821,998.00 for the base bid.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to award the plumbing and mechanical, which is extensive amount of work, to Eckhart and Johnson from Hooksett, New Hampshire, in the amount of $2,821,998. Who would like to make that motion? Alderman Lou?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion on the floor is to award the plumbing and mechanical to Eckhart and Johnson of Hooksett, New Hampshire, in the amount of $2,821,998. Are there any questions?
Yes, I have one.
Alderman Lou?
Thank you. I was just going to ask if we could take a quick peek at the other bidders, but and you just put them on the screen, but what are the names? Are any of them more local than I see?
Eckhart Johnson is in Manchester.
Yeah, these are all local New Hampshire companies.
Yeah.
But this company is the low bidder, and we have experience with them, and they've done good work. Those two things spell.
Read my mind.
Okay, so on the base work for plumbing and mechanical, award to Eckhart and Johnson in the amount of $2,821,998. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Miss Gilio.
Yes.
Miss Johnson.
No.
Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Now, there are 2 alternates to this bid, and they are involve replacing the existing rooftop units and the replacing the control panels for those rooftop units. We entertain this because of primarily because they're old, they're with the original school, and they're not in great shape. And also because of COVID, they improved the air circulation within the school. So we felt that this was a very important addition to this particular bid. And I would recommend that we approve both alternates, which would bring the full price of the award to $3,261,756. The alternate 2 is $272,727, and alternate 3 is $167,031. Who would like to make the motion to approve one or both of the alternatives? Mrs. Raymond?
Yes, I think both. I don't think, I know we're starting to get to phase 2 of the vaccinations, but I just think it's really important that we do everything we can to protect the health and safety of the students and staff in our buildings. So,
Yeah, based on the condition of the units, even without COVID, I think it would be a good idea to replace them. And as I see everybody nodding yes, that we've had multiple discussions on this, and I think it's very prudent that we perform this. So the motion on the floor is to add both alternatives. And let's see, if both alternatives will take the total value of the award to $3,261,756. Any further discussion on the motion?
Can you give me that one more time? 3,256,000?
Yeah, that includes the $2,821,998 we've already approved. So the alternative 2, it's all in that letter that you should have had a copy of. Alternative 2 is $272,727, and alternate 3 is $167,031.
Okay.
Alderman Lou?
Thank you. This alternate, essentially it's an add-on to the original bid, correct?
It's an add-on to the work that was originally scoped. And it's an add-on because of the findings of the rooftop units by Sean's staff, and the fact that as a result of COVID, we think that improving the air circulation within the school is very prudent.
No, I understand. Just the term alternate kind of threw me because it sounded like we were switching something out and putting something back.
No, it's just an add-on to the original bid.
And did each of the bidders bid on the alternate, or did only our choice bid on the provide us?
It's right on the screen.
Yeah, so you can see right here, I think I can highlight these columns here. These are the numbers that were provided by each bidder. So yes, each bidder was required to provide a bid on the alternates. This was an alternate that was included as part of Harriman's design in the contract documents.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Any other questions on the alternatives and the? Okay, so the motion on the floor is to approve the two alternatives to the plumbing and mechanical bid, to make the award of the total contract, including the two alternatives, to $3,261,756. Any additional questions? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou?
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire?
Yes.
Ms. Gilio?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
No.
And Ms. Raymond?
yes.
Motion passes. And before Ken goes on to the electrical to Liberty Electric, there are two alternatives there. The two alternatives there go hand in hand with the alternatives we just bid. So Ken, if you would give the total price, because we need to do those two alternatives, or the alternatives we just approved won't work. So if you want to cover that, Ken?
Sure. Okay, I'll just I'll kind of highlight the scope of work and who we are awarding, and then I'll make sure to include the bottom line price. So the scope of work is for the electrical, and I think everybody knows how important this is. Their scope that they'll be performing is the service and the electrical gear. This is all of the, when we say gear, we say all of the electrical panels and the transformers and the switchboards that are required throughout the project. All of the interior and exterior lighting and controls inside and outside of the building, all of the power and wiring to all of the mechanical equipment that's going to be provided by Eckhart & Johnson that was just awarded. Furnish and install all the new addressable fire alarm system. That's probably the most important part of this award. All the wired new clocks and intercom systems throughout the building. All the tel data, the internet, all the wiring. I believe we upgraded. We have the Cat 6 and the Cat 6E where required per the Nashua IT department. It also provides security, all the access points to the building, motion sensors, interior, exterior cameras. It also that also comes with the commissioning and training of the staff to make sure that the building can be properly monitored and protected. And also will includes we have the bidders include additional we call it attic stock. This is basically extra materials for replacement in the future. So this includes intercom parts, pieces, clocks, security items, basically anything that Sean and his plan ops staff will need to keep the building serviced as it grows. So we did solicit 3 bidders for this scope of work. And as Alderman Downer mentioned earlier, we're recommending Liberty Electric. They are the low bid. They're also doing a lot of great work with us over at the Fairgrounds project currently. And with those 2 alternates included that were previously approved, the recommended contract value for the electrical package is $2,020,500.00.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to award the electrical to Liberty Electric of Salem, New Hampshire in the amount of $2,020,500. Who'd like to make that motion? Alderman Lou? All right. Motion on the floor is to award the electrical to Liberty Electric of Salem, New Hampshire. Is there any questions or concerns? Alderman Sean?
Yes, I should have asked this for the last package, but it's still included with this one. But Ken, who is the controls contractor for all this work?
Let me take a look here. I think I have it in there. For the mechanical package, let me take a look here. Can I dig it up and you can come back to me?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I looked for it, I couldn't find it, but yep.
I'll make sure to get it to you, hopefully during this meeting.
Yeah, there's only a couple major ones anyway, so.
Yeah, I believe it was CTI, Sean, but we can verify that.
Okay.
Control Technologies, I believe. Could be wrong.
I think you're correct, Carl.
Okay, Control Technology. Okay. So the motion is to approve the electrical for Liberty Electric, Salem, New Hampshire, in the amount of $2,020,500. Any further discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Miss Gilio.
Yes.
Miss Johnson.
No.
Miss Raymond.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Okay. That's approved. Anything else, Ken?
That's all I have for tonight. I will get you that information as well, Sean. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Dubois.
Yeah, just a couple things, if I may expand on Ken's presentation. On the cover sheet that he gave you, when it says, we received 5 bids, 4 bids, we've actually solicited more than the bids that you see. We typically, just for clarification purposes, we will go out to almost 8 bidders per trade. So the numbers that you see, for example, electrical, we received 3 bids out of everybody that we went to. So we actually solicited more to make sure that we got at least 3 where we could for you folks. And moving forward, I'm in the process of finalizing the GMP. We had a great meeting with Harriman Associates and Plan Ops and Mr. Dowd, and we went through it all, and I'm pleased to report that we will probably, Sean's going to do some accounting to take some of the monies that he had for certain work, like roof replacements that you're gonna see, all this mechanical equipment or some of the technology stuff. But pleased to report that we're going to fall within the budget that was established and that we've been holding. So that's all good news. So I just wanted to make everybody know that we will have the GMP prepared and submitted for the next meeting, which will roll. What it essentially does is it rolls the contract amount into our contract, much like we did with Fairgrounds.
Okay.
You'll see that at the next meeting. Thank you.
All right. Sean, invoices?
Yes, good evening again. So we have a number of invoices. I'll basically read them from your agenda. They're also listed on the attached financial pages. So the first invoice is to Allied for work at Fairgrounds Middle School in the amount of $285.87. We then have 3 invoices from Harriman, our architect, for work at all 3 middle schools. Those totaled $265,626.92. Then have invoice from Harvey, our construction manager, for their work at Fairgrounds Middle School. That totals $580,946.79. Then we have 2 invoices from Hayner Swanson. They are our surveying company for work at the new middle school and Pennachuck. Those totaled $12,157.21. We have a single invoice from John Turner, work at Fairgrounds Middle School. Turner is our testing company, so they'll measure concrete, structural steel, welds, that sort of thing. That comes to $755. And finally, we have one invoice from William Scotsman. They are the provider of the portable classrooms. That comes to $3,951 and no cents. And all that comes to a grand total of, as I flip forward on the pages, $863,722.79.
Okay. So the LD, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, thank you. Where do I find a copy of these invoices that you want me to vote on? Where are they?
They come with the minutes. They come with,
I didn't have them in my minutes.
In the electronic copy of your agenda is an embedded link. You can just click right on the link and it takes you to a Google Doc that has all the invoices. It's like, I don't know, 90 pages long or something. It's very long.
Yeah, I didn't know because these came over and I just opened them up and I just printed whatever kind of came over. So half the stuff I did not have. So I couldn't look at it. And not to sound stupid or anything, but where are these portables going to be? Which school are we putting the portables in right now?
They're already in place. They're at Fairgrounds Middle School. There are 2 of them, so a total of 4 classrooms. They're in fact already being used as we've gone back to school. They're temporary in nature and they will be taken out next summer when the construction project is done there.
Thank you very much.
okay. We used to send all these things out in one file and it used to be too many pages. People used to try to print it out and it would be several hundred pages. So it's much easier. You can look at whatever you want to look at. And there is a link that takes you right to it. So the invoices that we're approving this evening are to Harvey Construction, the amount of $580,946.79. Harriman A&E, $265,626.92. Hayner Swanson, $12,157.21. William Scotsman, $3,951. Allied Universal, $285.87. John Turner Consulting, $755, for a grand total of $863,722.79. Alderman Wiltshire.
I'll make that motion.
The motion is to approve the invoices as just read. Is there any questions? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderman Lou.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Miss Gilio.
Yes.
Miss Johnson.
No,
Miss Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes and the invoices will be paid. Okay, comments by committee members. Is there anyone that would like to make any comments relative to the meeting?
I do. I just want to say thank you for when I think it's, let me get his name right first. I don't see him on the screen, but he's from Harriman, I believe, the one that gave the presentation.
Mr. Willett.
Well, I really appreciate how he breaks down each item, so we get a feel for what the materials are that are being used. So I just want to say thank you.
That was Mr.
Jamie.
Ken
Willett, right?
Glenn Larimer is the one that went through the bids.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's the person that gave the
Right.
presentation.
Ken Lemarier.
Oh,
The architect, they designed the building. Harvey builds the building.
Yeah.
So,
well, I appreciate his
okay.
everything that she scores there.
Anyone else that would like to comment on anything? Seeing none, we don't need a non-public. Who would like to make a motion?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Mrs. Raymond
Yeah.
made the motion to adjourn.
I'll
Would the clerk-
second it.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow.
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Lou.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Miss Giglio.
Yes.
Miss Johnson.
Yes.
Miss Raymond.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. We're going to be adjourned at 8:12. Just one note that we're under the automatic rules and we don't need a second on motions. So the next meeting is March 25th, and we will see you then, and we're adjourned at 8:12 p.m.